Hey everybody, welcome back to NSB Custom Cars. On the last episode, we took the old broken harmonic balancer off and replaced it, and we flushed out the radiator. So, still working on it. You got a few more upgrades I'm going to be doing to it. And on this one, we're going to be taking out the 355 gear and changing it out. And I'm going to go down to a 411. So let's jump into that. And I've got some new shocks I'm going to put on. So let's check this out. So now that the harmonic balancer is fixed, I'm going to move on to changing my rear gear out. This is the 355. I'm going to my 411. But before we can put it in, I'm letting this one drain out. We got other things to do. So this is my 411 gear. It's on a locker, but it's kind of hard to see. I'm getting good wear all the way to the right, about to here. So that little bit there, I'm not getting wear. That's telling me that I got to come up with that pinion. So I don't like the way it's wearing, the noise it was making. So I'm gonna take it all apart and redo it. Tearing them down is pretty quick. I'm missing right here my little keeper that holds the tensioner wheel on my bearing. You got one on both sides. Let me remove this one and you'll see what I'm talking about. There's my little keeper that's supposed to goes in and locks, so that can't unspin. I'm missing one. Every time I change a gear, I take one off my other rear end. But I'm gonna make me one before, and that way I don't have to do that no more. Stay on there when I get them set up. So pretty much on every gear that you buy and you put in, like on, you'll have a number that's printed on, they inscribe on a gear. And that's the distance from this flatness of this gear to the center of the circle here. So the dead center down is what that number should read. That tells you how high the pinion needs to be or how low the pinion needs to be. So measuring this distance from the center line down, they make a special tool that you actually would put in. Has a tube that runs across with a hole that you can run down and get your measurement, and it'll always get your center line. I don't have this special piece to set these rear ends up. I do have my micrometer, and I do have this special piece that you go on the end of it that'll allow me to come across both halves. Now, they say sometimes you can't come off them halves because these halves may not be the exact center of that hole due to, when they machine this and cut it, or however they do it at the factory, that could be off a little bit. So what I do, come in, first thing you want to do is get how big the hole is. And in this case, I am 3.268. So you do your math work with a calculator and cut that in half, and that's what the distance from here to the bottom should be. I'll make sure I get dead bottom, which just may not be completely half. And then you would take the difference of that because you know if this is down farther or up, and then I can come over and get on the half, and I can go down and measure and see where my number's at versus what the number's on the gear. And I'm not going to do all this math work on here. That's just showing you how I would do it. But on this particular gear, it's saying 2 point. I don't know who do these scribings, but there ain't much. It says 277. Looks like an 8 or something. Well, this is showing a 2772 on my micrometer. I don't know. Let's see if this will come in. So it goes to show that it's pretty. I don't know if you can see that or not. I can't see it on my little screen, but I mean, I'm showing that that gear is like perfectly on there. Within 3/4 thou. Take this out, put 4 thou shim in. Is it worth all that? I don't think it's going to be holding up much. So I've retorqued my pinion nut to where it's got some resistance there. I forget what you're supposed to have on your poundage. Something like 15 pounds or something like that. That's pretty good right there. You get on it a few times, you crush that sleeve because it's trying to suck that in with 38 to 4,000 pound car. So it'll seat in there. So now all I do is put the gear back in. I'm gonna try to go slow with it. So there's one complete turn and 2. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 thou. Is where I set it to right off by hand. So I'm making that piece. I got me a piece of bar stock, pretty much the same. It might be a little bit thicker even, so it might be a little stronger, who knows. But I put that first bend in it right here. So now I'm shaping it to be the same. I'm a little can't get much closer than that. I need one right dead center hit. Nothing that a hammer can't take care of. Now I got one more little bend, but I need to get my marker. You can see I pretty much made it. I need to trim it off here and cut my fork in it and drill my hole. So there's the one I made versus the factory one. I believe it'll do the job. Looks just about like it. Make me a few more of these. Yeah, look what Santa Claus brought. Got me some rear shocks. Need to get them put on. I already took the nuts off. Not like I'm overdoing it, I just want to get them good and wet. Give me a rag. So there's the install on a set of Calvert 9-way shocks. See how these things gonna work. So after putting this all back together, I put it in the car. And I was spinning my tires versus the dry shaft. I was getting a lot of play, and I'm like, why? Because we set my pinion. You've seen the pinion, the backlash. I only had 6. I mean, I had a lot all of a sudden. Like, what's going on with this? Something inside this Detroit locker, which I've had a problem with this for a little while. That's the reason I had the 411 on it, because I figured I would use it. Just don't use it that much. So what I ended up doing is taking this all back apart, take it all back out. I don't want to have to go through video for all y'all to see that. And I took my 355 gear that was in it, I took it apart and took the clutch type housing out and put it on that gear. And I put it all back in. So painstakingly that it was, I didn't have to video all that for you. I'm just letting you know. Now the Detroit locker's not in it. I might put it, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. But I gotta put my 355 back together, so I gotta get me another housing. Or another center chunk pause unit or something, and I can put my 355 back in. Or build this one back and it'll be ready to swap back and forth. So now that I've changed all that back out again, y'all didn't have to watch that video. I'll put this chunk back together, my 355, but I'm gonna try to find me another clutch pause to put back on it. I do have another gear that has a cone type, and it's set up with a high gear on it. And the high gear, it's a 297, I think. I put that in for if I'm doing a long road trip or something. I really hate to take that one apart because it runs really good. So I might just try to find me another pause unit to put this one back together. That way I can leave that one together. This is the only one that's apart. The 411 is in the car now, and we'll go take it for a test ride. So let's go and see how that goes. So now that I've changed all that back out again, y'all didn't have to watch that video. I'll put this chunk back together, my 355, But I'm going to try to find me another clutch pause to put back on it. I do have another gear that has a cone type, and it's set up with a high gear on it. And the high gear, it's a 297, I think. I put that in for if I'm doing a long road trip or something. I really hate to take that one apart because it runs really good. So I might just try to find me another pause unit to put this one back together. That way I can leave that one together. This is the only one that's apart. The 411 is in the car now, and we'll go take it for a test ride. So let's go and see how that goes. Clutches just don't want to let go as well. They're brand new clutches. They got a break in. Second gear. Can't imagine with nitrous on it. There it is. Test ride went pretty good. A little noisy. It's a 411. I mean, I ain't heard a 411 that didn't whine. It's a little more than I like. But, I mean, everything's on. I can't figure it out. It's on the money. It's just going to wind down the track. Well, that was the test ride. Everything seems to be okay. Do have a little noise in it. That's only when, when I'm giving it gas or letting off the gas, it's making no noise. It's just when I'm freewheeling, just letting it go, it has that little hum to it. Actually sounds kind of loud. Y'all can hear it on there. It's got that noise, but... it's a 411 gear. I haven't heard any 411 gears. It didn't make some kind of noise, but hopefully it's going to wear in. If it gets worse, I'll take it back out and see. But we're going to run it like that for at least down the track a couple of times, see how it goes. If it gets bad, I'll have to pull it back out and see. But that's going to be all on this episode. I do have some more parts coming in for upgrading on this, and as soon as they come in, that'll be the next video that's coming out. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.